The thing that amazes me always with trucking is that we're constantly working to improve the production, not the production, but the movement of freight, trying to do it as quickly as possible with as little trucks as possible, with as little fuel as possible, and that also involves the safety of the vehicles. So technology is the big thing that changes that, and we fight against the fact that we're growing in the number of people every year. And so there's lots of predictions for the 2040 timeframe from the Department of Transportation recently on their Beyond Traffic 2040 that talks about how congested we're going to be. None of us likes to sit in traffic with problems. So we're looking at things such as moving the freight at different hours of the day in order to allow people to be moving. I made a blog recently. Mass transit used to mean, massive transit. Well, now it means mobility as a service. So we're talking about Uber and Lyft for movement of things. We've got UPS that is trying to use the grocery stores as the last point of delivery so that when you go to make your grocery pickup, you pick up your package at the same time to relieve the congestion. At the same time, because of our aging population, we've got the grocery stores trying to do the last mile of delivery, and you order online and bring it to the people. So depending on your age, maybe if you're 75 and you're housebound, you're going to have your UPS deliveries to your house, or maybe the grocery store, and then the grocery store, you'll order your UPS deliveries along with your broccoli and have it delivered to you. So all kinds of exciting things are going to change in our industry as a result of the confluence, if you will, of growing population, aging population, technology advances, and our need to eat, drink, wear clothes, and things like that. Carriers are going to have to do different things than they do today. We were just talking over on the sidelines here. I know in my neighborhood, I will have delivery trucks come in 3 and 4 times, from FedEx, from UPS, and from others. Sometimes somebody will short ship a product. So if you order 5 things, they'll ship 2, and then they'll come back and bring the other 3 later. We have lots of packaging associated with it. Walmart has been one of the leaders in trying to find ways to minimize the packaging, but still not have it so that your electronics is going to be broken by the time you get there. So the carriers are going to see their operations change as a result of changes in the packaging that we do and changes in the distribution. We may see, I do a lot of research into 3D printing. And so one of the articles that caught my attention this morning was a consultant, talking, but it makes some sense that it is possible that a dealership would be able to 3D print the part for you. So instead of having to order the part from a warehouse that is controlled by the auto factories, instead of having to wait for that, instead of having to search a system to find that particular old part, 3D printing is really very good at printing hard to find parts and things. So it's possible that in the future we will just print the part. Now, if you do that, how many carriers' deliveries have you taken out of the process? But then you've also improved safety and congestion in the process. I'm glad you said 25 or 30 years as opposed to some people who are talking like General Motors is saying that by 2018 they're going to have something, and I was talking with somebody in Lexus, he says his Lexus already has the level of automation that GM is talking about in 2018, where you can go down the road in cruise control with your hands off of the wheel and just sit there and let it do its thing. In the trucking industry and really in others, it's one thing to put out the first few prototypes and have a few things out there. But one of the things I've been involved in is anti-lock brakes. They first came out in the 70s. They had problems. It wasn't again until the 90s that they came out. It wasn't until the late 90s before it became a regulation. So it was the early 2000s before it became a mandate and it had to be out there. So that's roughly 25 to 30 years to take something from a concept to a reasonable amount of production. So the same thing I see is going to happen with the autonomous vehicles. We already have prototypes out there. We have things in production. They're going to find niches where they can be used, such as at the docks, in yards. A yard jockey might be a great application right away for doing that. Save time for the hours for the driver, so he's not going through a large area trying to find a trailer. Those are going to come, and infrastructure's got to be built out. We've got that issue with natural gas fuels, we've got that with DME, we've got it with electrification and hybrids. There's lots of things that have to be built out, and that takes an awful long time because we might have a national policy and guideline for what to do, but it's individual municipalities that have to implement it with their own budgets, which are very hard to come by. So 25, 30 years, yes, we will see it. It will not be 100% in my opinion, but it will be some measurable percentage and in some very useful applications. I have an idea that a great thing would be to do is if I had an autonomous vehicle and I came into a Pilot or Flying J truck stop, I could get out of the truck at the fuel island and say, "Goodbye, truck. I am now relieved of duty," and the truck would, finish fueling, it would finish getting its DEF, it would do its diagnostics check there, and then it would go and park itself, and I could go in and take my shower, get in line to take my shower, have a meal, go see a movie at some of the rest stops and things like that. And so that could gain me maybe an hour or two a day in the ability to be out on the road driving. So those are some applications that I'm favorable to.